I kind of like this. Can I take this? We're far enough away. Okay. Hi, everybody. Hey, that was a little delayed. So my name is Carlee. I get to be the outreach coordinator for Mission Recovery and Hope. And first of all, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming out. I know this was put together, somewhat quickly, and it's really important that you guys are all here. And I know I guess with COVID, there's really not a whole lot else to do, but we're grateful that you're here. And this is pretty amazing. I just wanted to take a moment of silence. This isn't scripted, but I just received word that we recently lost somebody else, at least close to me. And we're losing people all the time. So if we can just take one quick moment of silence, that would be deeply appreciated. All right, thank you. First I'm going to introduce Carol, or I like to call her Mom, because it's my mom. But Carol Michelle, from Mission Recovery and Hope, Executive Director, to introduce Domenic and why we're all here. So, go ahead. I never used one of these before. Can you hear me?
Speak up louder.
What?
Hi, everybody. My name is Carol Michelle Carlee. I'm Executive Director of Mission Recovery and Hope. I'm a person in long-term sustained recovery with 26 years clean.
All right.
I want to let you all know that recovery is possible. If you have a loved one who's struggling, or if you're struggling, know that there's hope. Addiction doesn't have to be a death sentence. It doesn't. Recovery's out there, it's possible, and it can be done. I look at the spoon that Domenic was so kind to bring up from Massachusetts, and I see it covered in names. And they're not numbers to us. Those are our family members, that's our friends, people who we care about, and it's important that we remember that. Sometimes the addiction issues that are out there take a back burner to other causes that are going around at the time. But this is important. And, people are dying every single day. And, people will say, well, the numbers are down. You know what? No, they're not. The numbers are up. People are overdosing at an alarming rate. And especially with all the resources that we have today, it's uncalled for. There's so much more that we can do. When I first heard about Domenic Esposito, I heard about this guy, this crazy guy, okay, that put this 800-pound spoon in front of one of the pharmaceutical companies in protest for them flooding the market with opioids. And I'm like, this guy's nuts. I got to meet this guy, sure enough, he came to Rochester, and, since then, we've been to Vegas, and we've been to Palm Beach, and a couple different places, and I've seen him in action, and to me, he's such a great recovery advocate, and he's doing a lot. He's on the front lines right with us, fighting against this epidemic. So I'm going to turn it over to Domenic Esposito.
Thanks, Carol. That was a really nice introduction. And thank you, Chief Rawl. I met him last year here and saw the band. It was just incredible. Again, so my name's Domenic Esposito. I'm an artist and activist. Today is really about, why we're all here. We're all here because of International Overdose Awareness Day. And although I always say it's one day we remember, but it's one of those diseases that you never forget. As a loved one someone who's lost somebody, you never forget. And it's just one day a year, yes, that we celebrate and we try to remember the memory and grief, but we all know that it's every day, and it's very hard for us to sort of move on from this. So I think I met a lot of you here last year, but I just want to give you maybe a quick introduction in terms of some of the stuff that I've done and some of the activism, and we can talk about this spoon in particular. So it all started June of 2018. As Carol mentioned, I dropped this huge 800-pound spoon in front of Purdue Pharmaceutical down in Stamford, Connecticut. And I did it really out of my own struggle, dealing with my brother, who unfortunately is still alive, although, let's just take it day by day. And it was really a cry for help for the government to sort of some inaction. Here he is, these pharmaceutical executives literally getting away with murder, and to be held accountable for it. And we haven't stopped there with just Purdue. We've done Johnson & Johnson down in New Brunswick last year. We did the FDA. We drove up into DC, into Health and Human Services building, and dropped another spoon with a lot of demonstrators there. And in every place we go, we raise awareness. And people always tell me, like, well, we all know about the opioid crisis. It's in the headlines. Yes, we do. I've met so many people who don't know much about it. And so we're out there really trying to educate. And the comparison I give to, I don't want to get on too far off the topic because it really is a day of grief today, but the comparison I give is to the HIV and AIDS community and what they got done with activism, right? It took them 10 years before we saw the Ryan Act. And that was a real game changer, really. And, here we are trying to, we all know the issues, we all know the fight, trying to get legislation passed, but we're not even close to anything that realistically is going to start saving lives. And if it wasn't for the community effort, like Rochester and all the help that's out here, I think the numbers would be double what they are right now. So keep up the effort here, and I think it's really important, all the work that's going on. I always point to, Carol and Tammy and some of the other members up here that we've gotten to know, Hope BTC and all the other groups that have just done a phenomenal job of really saving lives at the end of the day. So this spoon we took up here, we took it to 10 states, 15 cities, started in Boston, made our way up to Portland, Maine, and finished in Philadelphia, went to Fredericksburg, Maryland. So it was really over a month, and we collected signatures. We met thousands of families who came out to sign this thing, and every place we went, it was just the same stories over and over again. It was just so heartbreaking. I knew physically it was going to be difficult taking the spoon around, 800-pound spoon, and it was really kind of a solo show. Like every time we showed up, I'd call on volunteers to help us, like we did today, help us, wheel the thing out. And the physical part of it, that's easy. It's the emotional part that was really hard for me and all the other families out there. But it was really, really important that their names are honored, that their memories not forgotten. And we've had this on display at different mayor's offices for weeks at a time. We're talking to a handful of museums. We were supposed to start a new tour in California. That all kind of ended with COVID. And then we were going to move to Florida instead, and that heated up. So, we really have had to kind of slow down our effort and activism, although we do a lot behind the scenes, as Carol mentioned. But really, I want to thank everybody out here in the community, and I'm so grateful for everybody showing up. And really, this is a day of grief and just remembering the thousands of lives lost to this epidemic, and wishing it didn't have to be like that. And I really encourage everybody to, I know it's really hard. I do love the recovery community because they find the energy to get out there, even though they've been through so much devastation, to get out there and want to help somebody and make sure that other lives are not lost. So thank you. Thanks everybody for coming out today.